Trigger warning. Death and Friends is not a podcast for the light of heart. Many dark and serious subjects will come up. Listener discretion is advised.
The land of endless blue skies. Deserts at the end of the Gobi. It's a brutal place to live.
What is
The vastness
happening?
is unparalleled.
What's happening right now?
I'm doing the opening narration. Thank you very much.
This isn't the History Channel, Angel.
True, if this was the History Channel, this would be an episode about ancient aliens. But it's not, so. Look, I'm trying for a National Geographic style and travel intro, you know.
Well, be careful on that, because those could get weirdly racist.
Yes, thank you. The mystical lands.
Okay.
Just let me finish, okay?
Okay, fine.
How did Mulan defeat the hordes of Mongols?
Just start the song.
Alright, here we go. Death comes for us all. You might as well make it your friend. Your friend. With us on Death and Friends.
Hello, Skeleton Army. I'm Angel, and this spicy meatball is Nash.
Haha, it's me, stereotypes.
We are brushing up on quite a brutal conqueror, some might say the biggest, Genghis Khan.
You mean Genghis Khan?
Well, both are used interchangeably because the West. But this time we're actually going to use Temujin.
Who's Temujin?
It might be pronounced Temujin. My mistake, if that's the case. I apologize beforehand. But Temujin is his birth name. There's a poetic reason, I promise. Now, if you're pretty please, paint the picture.
It's maybe 1158 BCE. A small boy with what is regarded as a symbol of greatness is born.
It was actually like a blood clot in his head, or he was holding it. It's a little muggy there. The point is he was metal as fuck before he was even born.
And he was also born as a baby, not as a small boy. That's not important. You knew that. You knew how babies are born. You know what babies are.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
We're fine.
It's fine. He's called Temujin, which means Temujin. Just kidding. It means blacksmith. Got you. When he's 9, he gets arranged married to a nice lady in a neighboring tribe. That's the Angarat. Temujin's dad goes to FedEx 3-day his son, and on the way, they run into another enemy tribe, the Tatas. Ked. They're from Boston, the Tatas. Lots of enemies with these guys, yeah? They got real New York.
If you're confused, Temujin is part of a Mongol tribe. The Angarat and the Tartars, not
Tatas.
are two enemy tribes of the areas. Now, is it necessary to show you all this? No, but they were not all generally Mongols, you ignorant donuts.
That's harsh. Was it necessary?
Very necessary.
So the Tatas are like, yo, kid, you want some dunks? They got a great frappuccino this time of year.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Fucking macchiato. No, he gets poisoned to death.
Oh, bummer. Oh.
Temujin is like, hey, I should have a wife now? I'm 9 years old. What the fuck am I supposed to do without a wife?
So he goes back to the tribe to be like, hey guys, so the rules say this is like my tribe now, and so like I'm in charge because my dad died, and anyway, welcome to my 20-slide PowerPoint about how I'm going to be the bestest leader ever. So, very quickly, the tribe wholeheartedly grab him and tell the young leader to be fuck off. And then they abandon him and his family.
Go on, kid.
Fucking beat it, kid. Get the fuck out of here.
Temujin and his family go through much hardship. Very difficult. Wow. At 15, he decides to begin his life of conquest. It goes surprisingly well. And then badly. And then well again.
Just a real roller coaster for Temujin. Just to kind of showcase how bad this was. When he was a kid, he gets captured, enslaved, but then proceeds to outsmart everybody. He goes back to the original place that he got captured at after escaping. He blacksmiths a guard that he had overpowered earlier, rides off into the sunset, and a year later, he officially marries and begins to make alliances throughout his region. And slowly but surely, young Temujin starts to get his groove. Granted, that was very, what's the word?
Bird's eye.
No.
Condensed.
No.
Boiled down? Boiled, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Brief intro for the young Temujin.
There you go.
But there's a lot to get to here, so bear with me.
Throughout his teen years, he'd already started to gain a reputation of being a strong leader and someone who would go out of his way to create alliances. For example, as a wedding gift, he gets a sick-ass fur coat. He drops his wife off at his mom's to watch her because she's not an adult with agency and feelings. He gifts the coat to a neighboring tribe, and before long, Temujin's gained an army. But soon after that, a rival tribe kidnap his wife. Khan goes full John Wick. He rescues her, and then after the worst childhood and adolescence, everything starts coming up Milhouse.
Jeez.
Now that we have his origin story, aka the first 2 acts of any modern Marvel movie, we can move on to how he became super feared by all of those around him, especially those in the West.
West. Oh, I thought you said West. I feel like we skipped a lot.
We did. There's entire episodes worth of content just talking about his upbringing, Mongol culture, how he rose to power through the murder of his own family.
Oh my.
Yes. Yeah, long story short, after his dad dies when he was 9, he made a vow to himself that he would become the greatest leader in the world and gain his revenge after being rejected by his clan. So he attempts to gain power within his family, but he has like multiple brothers and one of them was being an asshole and he hoards all the food. So he kills them in front of the other brothers in order to be recognized as leader. Shit is wild.
Wow.
Which brings us to...
Fun facts with Nash.
That entire time period was like Star Wars.
Explain, por favor.
All the stakes in the universe rely on the drama between a small family.
Oh. Okay. I thought it was because it was like set in space.
Space? Like,
Space Mongols.
I mean, Earth is in space, so everything is set in space. It's Earth,
okay.
space.
All right.
I mean, that's our address, you know?
That's what we're doing?
Yeah.
Spooky.
Let's talk about Jamuka. Jamuka is Temujin's best friend since they were wee lads.
His family in a Fast and the Furious sense.
You're on fire with references I do not understand. So Jamuka's next to Temujin every step of the way. But a lot of people wonder exactly how Temujin gained such an army and following. And well, it's because he literally Forrest Gumps his way all around Mongolia.
Mongolia is like a box of chocolates.
It hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, there you go. That's the one.
He goes tribe to tribe in an attempt to unite everyone, and he does this for years. His army grows from a few dozen of his closest friends and family to over 20,000. But trouble was a brewing. See, Temujin took anyone in that had talent. If you're useful, you can hang. Meanwhile, Jamuka requires only high blood status. The large army splits in two. They go their separate ways. They don't see each other for 2 years. Oh, breakup of the century. Both conquering their own lands until Jamuka decides to sneak up in an ill-prepared Temujin army and slaughters thousands of people, with his generals being made into soup.
Wait, soup?
They were boiled alive.
Picante.
Before we get back to the family drama that is this AMC Plus series,
What are these references?
we're going to talk about Mongol torture methods.
Black death, polio, spontaneous combustion. Dying comes and after death comes decomposition. It may seem sad and also gross, but here you are and here's your host. Not an actual doctor, but it's medical facts with Dr. Angel.
Are these medical facts?
Kinda. So the main form of capital punishment, or death sentence, or elaborate way to kill someone, was essentially pro wrestling.
Oh my god, stop trying to shoehorn wrestling into this podcast.
No, it's a metaphor. No shoehorn, actually.
No,
It fits
fuck
very well.
that. You keep trying to bring in this fake ass sport.
Whoa,
The
whoa,
episodes
whoa,
are
whoa,
way
what the
too
hell is
long.
this
Is
shit?
not.
So the reason I stated pro wrestling is because they would have these ceremonial wrestling matches. Elaborate costumes, the works, making it seem like the person who was being sentenced to death had some kind of chance. But it all led to a predetermined conclusion of someone getting their back broken. Not in the fun way, but by either an opponent's knee or a sharp rock. And they would be left outside to rot, alone, with a broken back, to die in the wilderness. So with that sidebar done, let's go back to that sweet, sweet drama.
The year is 1204. Temujin goes to war with his one-time best friend forever, Jamuka. This is where Temujin becomes Khan. Unlike Jamuka, Temujin had strict rules to join his army. You had to be able to ride bareback, shoot arrows, and be highly skilled in hand-to-hand combat. If not, you're cut from the team, aka sent to the minor leagues, aka cut off from the tribe, aka you die by yourself in the wilderness.
But more importantly, Temujin was a great military tactician. See, Jamuka thought he had absolutely crippled Temujin's forces, and in many ways he kind of did. So, Temujin tells his men to make 5 bonfires each. Make it seem like, from a distance, that Temujin's numbers were actually much greater than they seem. See, old Temujin was good at the psychological warfare as well.
Hell yeah.
When the sun rose up, Temujin's army makes the sky black with arrows and runs down Jamuka's overconfident army. But Temujin begins a retreat due to their lower numbers, quotation marks here. Why? It was all a ruse.
Temujin declares, "Ha! You fools! You idiots! I've done it!" That's a historical quote. And his men ambush Jamuka, and he runs away. He was found, given an honorable death. It was then, in that decisive victory, that Temujin became Genghis Khan, universal leader, CEO, Apple.
Wow. Incredible.
Naturally, after a very intense and personal war, the newly crowned Genghis Khan decides to take a staycation, just to relax.
Actually, he went on tour, baby!
First up is China. Khan knew that China would not be super hyped about having a strong, united Mongol front against them, so naturally he was like, that's first on the bucket list, baby. We'll attack them first.
Han shot first.
Yeah, sure did. Again with the goddamn references. Although, didn't I reference Star Wars earlier in this episode? It's all very confusing. I've never seen a movie before and I didn't write this one, so Star Wars is a film, I think. They essentially bulldoze their way into China, taking everything and anyone they could find, until they make it to what would be known today as modern-day Beijing. They couldn't get past the 40-foot walls that protected the city, so they camped out like a bunch of Karens outside a Best Buy and created a choke point. No supplies got in or out. By the time the Mongols actually barged in, everyone was half dead. They essentially partied.
Murder, raped, pillaged.
For an entire month. And this is what cemented his status across the land as one bad mother...
Shut your mouth.
Wow, rude.
From there, Khan would travel west, would travel west, reaching all the way to Eastern Europe, kicking ass and taking names.
How far? This isn't even the first time we've mentioned Khan and the Mongols. Episode 1 of this entire show, we talked about the Black Plague and mentioned that the Mongols were yeeting corpses over city walls as biological warfare. God damn. Like, I mean... I know you wanted to conquer the West, but like after the plague, was it even worth it, man? Was it even worth it?
Yeah, that's true. Everybody was just crunchy leaves at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a prolific conqueror, though, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it seemed.
It was incredibly bad.
Was it as horrifying as it seemed?
That man was a walking war crime.
Okay, fair. But after that was said and done, and those lands were conquered, he had a vast and peaceful kingdom.
I mean, yes, but still. He was basically a violation of the Geneva Convention. He was the worst.
He was, in fact, the worst, yes.
To your point, he didn't care about race or class. He's a proper metocracy. He also practiced religious tolerance. He didn't care about who you pray to, as long as you served the kingdom and followed Yasa.
Yasa Queen.
Yasa being a uniform set of laws through the lands. He reestablishes the motherfucking Silk Road.
Woo!
Inventions like gunpowder, paper, basic hygiene, which we still don't use, travels all the way to the west. Oh, where we forgot about it. It's believed that if he had not conquered, we would not be anywhere close to where we are as a people, which is dying from an incredibly communicable disease. He honestly made Alexander look subpar.
Well done. Both to you and to Genghis Khan.
Thanks, buddy. His funeral was also filled with mystery and intrigue, just like mine will be someday, and he's buried in an unmarked grave, also like me.
What a trendsetter.
I know, right? Everyone says it about me. I'll be buried very mysteriously. The story goes that everyone who went to see his funeral dies.
What a trendsetter.
According to the man, the myth, the legend, Marco Polo, Khan's funeral had an attendance of 2,000 slaves who were murdered as the funeral procession passes by them in order to keep the location of the final burial a secret.
Here's the thing, there's like so much to talk about when it comes to Khan that we can't cover it all in a nice short little sweet little baby episode of Death and Friends. So we're gonna not. I mean, we don't even scratch the surface on all 8,000 of his sons who conquered shit for him.
Gross.
Yeah, he had a bunch of sons. See, Genghis Khan loved the ladies. This man fucks. It wasn't uncommon to see old Temujin with, an entire squad of stolen brides.
That's
not a good look.
That's gross. It's so gross.
Yeah, it's very gross. Yeah, his thing was like he needed trophies from every place he conquered. What better trophy than the hottest lady that they could find? Because of this, Khan had a lot of kids. Like a lot of them. Which is, of course, why you and your mama and your cousin and that bitch you got as a girlfriend
Rude. She's lovely. Also, what is happening?
are related to Genghis Khan.
And on that genetic note, that's the episode. A special thanks to you, our favorite listener. Remember to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. A rate and review would also be nice.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. I am at Gorilla Jokes.
And I'm at It's Nashlin.
And of course, follow the podcast at Death and Friends Podcast.
God damn it, Kyle. Want to become an official member of the Skeleton Army?
See.
Join us on Patreon. We use it to cover our sound guy's medical bills. In order to properly write medical facts, we expose Dom to all the illnesses and ways to die we talk about on the show.
Oh, is he still outside? I gave him a Lucha Libre Quebradora. It's a backbreaker. Hang on, let me check real quick.
Go help him. Check it out at patreon.com/deathandfriends.
And also, you can check out our website, deathandfriends.org.
.org, baby. We did it. We're an organization now. What?
We're making it, Mom. Alrighty. Now, speaking of Patreon friends, on the quick side, quick shout out to them at the Brendan Fraser level. Shout out to Edgar, Grasshopper, Diane H, Luella B, Vicky R, Kevin L, Jonathan D, and Andy C.
John, I love your new haircut. Looks so good on you.
Alrighty, everybody. Well, death is a tricky thing to talk about, and we hope we can make it a little bit easier. But hey, we need you to remember something. You there with the face, little cutie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are loved. You matter. And if you don't want to be your own friend, we will happily be your friend.
It's time for friendship tattoos, so nut up.
Until next time, Skeleton Army, stay spooky. Love you.
Love you.
This has been a Knavery Inc. podcast. Go to knaveryinc.com for more details. Executive produced by Jacob Duffy Hallbleib. Audio design by Dominic Guanzon. Themes and transitions by Amy Doe.
The fuck is a knave? Remember, this is a comedy podcast? Don't use it in your research papers.